What's up, y'all? What's up? It's me, Erica. We are down here. I don't know what we talking about. We gonna see. We down here. It's Wednesday, I believe. I think today is Wednesday. Yes. I ain't in my feelings with it. So we down here and we're gonna talk about a little, little trending topics, I guess. Nothing really major, just stuff happening in the news, little trending topics out here. Oh, it's somebody on the basketball court with my son. I'm trying to see who it is, because look, I have to stop the whole car. Like, all right, he's already down here playing basketball. Told him I would meet him here. We got some things to do afterwards for our dinner tomorrow, so we got to do it. I don't know why my silly ass decided that I was gonna do some shopping. I should have did the shopping yesterday, actually, but I didn't. I don't have a thing to clean my glasses. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Oh no, I can't, because it's a little piece right there I can see. Hey, okay, so I don't know, I don't like to clean my glasses with like stuff like this, but I need to get those fingerprints off. You touch the thing one time and a little fingerprint, and I see it. I don't care if it's in the corner, and it'll bother me the whole time. Anybody else like that? I don't like that. Anything, I gotta get it off. It'll bother me because I'll be looking at it through the glasses. I'll be like, oh, there's a fingerprint right here. I can see it in the corner of my eye. So what's going on, y'all? We down here. Okay, so what are we talking about? I wrote a few things down here. Okay. Dave Chappelle and Netflix. So that happened, right? He did like, I think it was like almost 20 minutes just talking about Netflix, and because we got an announcement that Netflix and HBO Max was going to start streaming the Chappelle show. And everybody's really excited because, Chappelle's show, as, politically incorrect as it was really, a staple in our culture. So everybody was really excited about, the Chappelle show being on Netflix and HBO Max. Dave Chappelle did this little, I wouldn't even call it a stand-up. He was really just having a conversation and was basically saying that, in his contract, he signed a contract, and I'm assuming it was a joke. See, that's one thing about comedians. You got to be mindful because they mix jokes with the truth. I find myself, I get in trouble when I mix like the truth of something with a joke, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you actually think like that. I'm like, wow, it was a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, but it's okay. So I get it. And so he was just basically saying that the contract that he signed said they could use his likeness and image in perpetuity all over the universe. That's what he said. And contracts, they're like that. You got to read them. And when you are in your younger years, that they always tell people, you need to read your contracts. You need to read your contracts. And you're asking somebody with a creative, number one, right? With no legalese at all. You're asking them to read over their contract. To me, that was a long time ago. I remember when that shit was happening with Megan Thee Stallion, and they were like, why didn't she read her contract? You're asking somebody under 25 to read a contract and then to be able to understand it to the point where they could either negotiate or not. It's built like that. The system is built like that. Anyways, so he says basically that he asked Netflix to take Chappelle's show off of Netflix, because of he's not going to get paid from any of the streaming. The way his contract was set up, nobody thought that we would be in this type of media environment where things are actually streaming, and he isn't going to get paid for it. He's not going to get paid for it. So he was like, can y'all not watch my show? Can you not watch my show on HBO Max? And then he says, and Netflix pulled the Chappelle show because they value their relationship with him more than streaming the Chappelle show. So that is the power that Dave Chappelle is dealing with. A lot of people are not happy with it. A lot of people are making comparisons between what Monique was going through with Netflix versus what Dave Chappelle is asking people not to watch his show because he's not going to get paid from it. So you let me know what you think. Do you think there are parallels between what Monique was asking for and what Dave Chappelle is asking for? And a lot of people are saying this is a misogynoir at its peak, that he can come out and tell, Netflix, don't stream this, and they oblige. But when Monique comes out and says, I don't agree, this should be my contract, or this should be my reimbursement rate, or my whatever that she wants to be paid, it's not fair because other people are getting paid more than me and I'm a legend and I have awards to prove it. Support me in canceling Netflix. First question I want to ask, how many of you canceled your Netflix subscription at the request of Monique Hicks? That's a valid question, because you can't act like, oh my God, Dave Chappelle, what's the difference? There's no difference here. It actually, to me, it is a difference. To me, it's a stark difference. I already work with this company. This company has something of mine and they want to stream it. I'm asking them, if you want to maintain our relationship, please don't do this, because I don't know if anybody... Dave Chappelle has a lot of specials on Netflix. I think like 3 or 4. And, I don't think it's the same thing between what happened with Monique. Monique asked people to boycott Netflix right on the hem of strong black lead coming in, and all of these 90s sitcoms are now being streamed, including the Parkers. You know what I'm saying? My advice when Monique was going through that situation with Netflix was, take that $500,000, flip it. But her manager probably talked her out of it. You know what it is. Go ahead, take the $500,000, do the special, say that you want to reboot the Parkers, and then do another special. And I feel like, or you take your business elsewhere. She didn't do what Wanda Sykes did. Wanda Sykes went on to take her business elsewhere. And then about 1.5 years, 2 years later, she had a special on Netflix. So obviously they came back to her and were like, here's what we want to give you for this special. So, I think it really does depend on your manager. I think it does depend on your resume. And, I have my whole thing about Monique and that Netflix thing. I really believe that she took a real thing about, the template or the concept of gender inequality and race inequality in the way that people are paid. I believe that she took that real issue and aligned it and propped it up next to her very personal, selfish issue, and wanted you guys to get on board, because a lot of people get on board just to get on board, and simply because she's a black woman, and that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what what her issue was. She's a black woman and she's saying she's not being treated fairly. So please, support me in this. I think, it was that. I think that was what she did with that. That's how I see it, and from my perspective. And I think by going to Netflix and then turning around and showing a confidential document, I believe that was the match that lit the bridge, and you'll never get over to Netflix again. And being that Netflix is doing so much things with black people now, and nobody was really rallying behind Monique, you would have to ask yourself, if we can rally behind other people and their, agendas, why wasn't there momentum and speed behind Monique the way that it is for other people? So to me, I don't feel like it was a collective issue that she was kind of rallying about. It was very personal and very, very for me. Now, Dave Chappelle is doing the same thing, right? This is for me, but this is my show that they want to stream, and I'm not getting paid for it, so please don't watch it. I'm not asking you to boycott HBO. I'm saying don't watch my show on their platform, because I'm not going to get paid for it. I could see, I don't know. I'm trying to see, is there some similarities? Because a lot of people are making those, trying to create a parallel between what Dave Chappelle is doing with Netflix versus what happened with Monique. So that's how I feel about that. I think it just shows that he is very influential. I think that it also shows that Netflix is respecting that his influence and saying, you know, we're going to go ahead and not stream the Chappelle show because someone who makes us a lot of money is asking us not to do it. And it is his show. It is his show. His contract just made it seem like it's not his show, and he walked away. When you hear about, I'm sure all of us have heard the story about how much money he walked away from. You know, I don't know. I just think it does show that he has a lot of influence and a lot of power. I don't see how it parallels with the Monique situation. The only thing that is similar is them asking their community to do something for them. Monique wasn't asking, she was asking for you guys to cancel Netflix. So I'm wondering, did anybody actually cancel Netflix to support Monique? Just let me know down in the comments. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, and ironically, Monique is kind of tied to this story too. I guess it's Sagittarius season. We out here, okay? Because I speak about another Sagittarius coming down the list. Anyway, Will Smith and Aunt Viv. So I did watch the Fresh Prince reunion, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aired during my formative years in high school, and I loved that show. I loved Will Smith. I loved Jazz. I loved Ashley. I loved Jeffrey. I loved Uncle Phil. I loved Aunt Viv. I loved everybody on that show. I loved Carlton. I loved everybody. So the fact that they did this reunion, and instead of trying to, what I think people should try to start doing instead of rebooting these shows, is actually do reunions. I cried like a fucking baby when they did, you know, the montage of James Avery, who played Uncle Phil, and how he and Tatiana Ali saying how she learned so much from him, and how she was going through her formative years on the show as well. And a lot of the things that she did the first time was on the show, like her first kiss. They talked about everything. And I love how they included Jazz, because Jeff was a part of that show. But, you know, everybody was really tuned in to watch Aunt Viv and Janet Hubert, the original Aunt Viv, what we call the black Aunt Viv, because the other Aunt Viv came through, and Daphne Reed, she played light-skinned Aunt Viv, right? So, you know, I agree. I don't think it would have been a complete reunion without her, but everybody knows the problems that Will and Janet have had with each other, the things that she has said to Alfonso Ribeiro. And if you notice, when she came onto the stage and was hugging everybody, he was gone, because she said some really, really awful things to him. He apologized for what happened. I was always under the impression, and y'all let me know in the comments if you ever heard this, that Janet was trying to get Will to negotiate, for them to collectively negotiate their contracts in the same way that the cast of Friends were holding out and negotiating their contracts with NBC, so that they can get $1 million an episode, each of them, $1 million. And Janet Hubert wanted them to do the same thing. This is what I've always heard. What they talked about wasn't, she said she was going through some things personally, and he wasn't sensitive to that. As a young man in his 20s, he wasn't really sensitive to that. He didn't have an understanding that, you know, as an older woman, things going on in your life can affect your work. And they started saying that she was hard to work with. And they didn't renew her contract, okay? I've always heard that she was really trying to get them to hold out, and Will was like, nah, fuck that. This is about me. He was very selfish, very narrow-minded at that age, and that's understandably what, you know, I would understand. I could see that actually happening, like an older woman going to a young man who is the star of a show and saying, hey, I'm going through these things, and him being like, bitch, I don't give a fuck, I'm out here making this money, hello. And I could see that happening. But now he has life experience behind him. He has children. He has a marriage that is, you know, just recently been made, their dealings kind of publicized, you know, where they've been very, very private and just going on speculation of Will and Jada's marriage. But now he gets it. And she says she lost everything. And that when you say that a black woman in Hollywood is difficult to work with, you really cut off all of her money. They already don't want to work with you, and now there's an excuse to say you're difficult. So he apologized. They hugged each other. I cried like he was apologizing to me, because I can imagine the pain that she experienced by being on a hit show and then just going through some things and people not really being sensitive to that, and to not speak for 27 years. Is that how long they said they haven't spoke? That's a long time to not speak to somebody. And they both said really negative things to each other. But I'm glad that she was able to have some closure with that. I wish James Avery was here. That was really sad, just watching that. I was crying with them, and I'm glad they didn't try to jump back into dialogue after that, and they really just held space and silence and honor for James Avery, which, see, I'm getting emotional now talking about it. I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I'm so glad that they did this. And I'm so glad that she got her apology, and I'm glad that they can move forward. She said she lost everything. A couple of hours later, that we have all been just reveling in this joy that Janet Hubert finally was able to close this chapter in her book, The Actress, honey. She's been able to close it. We're reveling in that and saying, yes, he apologized. Some people was like, well, are they going to pay her for wages lost and all this other stuff? Because we know what it is, and we hear stories about black women. Black women in the workplace. I'm not even just talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about just down in the workplace, and how people relate to black women and things that can be said to make it seem like you're hard to work with. And I'm sure that there's a lot of us that can get down in the comments, and we may have a story of us in our professional life having a story of somebody saying something with their little microaggressions. And it hurts more when it's coming from somebody who looks like you. I had that experience at work where somebody who looked like me, who knew me and who was cool with me, was trying to mess with my money. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, but then at the same time trying to say, oh, well, she's difficult, she's not doing this. And then like people really accepting what this person is saying about you, and it can really affect your personal life. I mean, not personal life, your professional life. It can. And so she spoke to that, and I'm just glad that that was closed for her. And I'm here for it. Here comes Monique. Monique made a call out to Tyler Perry to tell him, was he man enough to apologize the way that Will Smith apologized to Janet Hubert. Now, here's my thing. Black woman who stands up for other black women, who wanted black women and black men to stand behind her and her agenda. Why wouldn't you allow this woman to sit in that space of love and support and encouragement? Why would you want to take attention from that for your own selfish needs and then call out to Tyler Perry to apologize to you when he actually did try to apologize to you and offered you money, but you recorded the conversation, asked to speak to Medea, and in other words, insult him, asked to speak to Medea because Medea would know, and then release the recording and you want him to apologize to you. To me, that's crazy. I don't understand that. And that's the problem that I have with Monique. It's very self-centered. And it's very much lack of accountability. It's all of that. It's like, do you realize what you did the last time you and Tyler Perry had a private conversation? The same privacy that you breached with Netflix, you breached with Tyler Perry. And but somehow you're flipping it, saying that Tyler Perry should be man enough to apologize to you. Now, I'm not going to get on Monique, but I want her husband to be man enough to get her a job. That's all I'm asking for. Get her a job, and then we could talk. We could see if your manager is actually doing his job, whatever you're paying him a percentage of. You already, look, I was about to get on her, but I'm not. But from my perspective, it looked like you were trying to take away the shine from another black woman who has been done wrong, same as you. She's been done wrong in Hollywood, and she's finally getting and having a space and a light on her to say, hey, we're sorry we did this to you. You're like, oh, wait a minute, but what about me? What about me? And that's the reason why I can't get behind her, whatever her agenda is, because it's very much self-serving and self-centered. It really is. And it's not about anybody else but her and Sydney. And she can be like that all she wants, but don't play in our faces like it's really an agenda that you really standing behind. Because truth be told, I'm not going to say anything else. So the Grammy Award nominations came out, and every season, everybody gets upset. And every season, I'm down here telling you to stop putting validation and value and worthiness and substance into white male-dominated award organizations. You're letting them tell you whether or not you are worthy. Now, to me, I feel like, are you doing this to be a creator and to share your creation with the world, or do you want to be validated by white people? Because y'all ask us you ask the people, boycott, don't support, fuck the Grammys, fuck the AMAs, fuck this, fuck all of these award organizations, but fuck the Oscars, let's not forget them, but as soon as you get a nomination, oh my God, I'm so thankful, I've worked so hard for this. So what were you working hard to share your gift, or were you working hard to get validation from a white person? And when I say white person, I'm talking about the organization that is ran by the whites. So I want to know, what is it? So what is it that y'all really want? And I say this every award season. Beyonce apparently was nominated for something. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, they don't love Beyonce as much as you love Beyonce. So stop looking for them to lift her up the way that you would lift her up, because they're not going to do it. They nominate Beyonce how many times, and how many times has she won? And then another Sagittarius came out and was like, the Grammys, they never gave me my award, and I set the stage for these girls. And until you do right by Little Kim, ain't nothing good gonna come to you, Nicki. I'm just letting you know. But I will be watching her HBO Max documentary. This is Sagittarius season. I guess we down here. Because she came out and said that she didn't appreciate the Grammys and that she actually paved the way for you didn't pave nothing. You did. You know what Nicki Minaj is, and we got to give her credit. As it relates to streaming and getting paid for, and because it's like a 0.001 that you get paid, a penny that you get paid. You don't even get a whole penny, okay? When these people are streaming stuff. She brought attention to that. So we're going to give Nicki Minaj that. I would say, and another thing I would give to Nicki Minaj is that you are, and you better, and I would stand in this because it really is an end of an era. She marked the end of the era where only one woman in rap can be uplifted at a time and be rewarded. She is the last of that era. She really is. And I think Nicki Minaj is standing there like, I was the last one. Now, everybody's saying, oh, the women are running rap. No, they're not running rap. They're actually just being, people can actually see them. It wasn't record executives saying, well, let's put Nicki out. You know, Nicki is out, so we're not going to really do too much. And then if somebody else comes out, we're going to pit those women against each other. And we're not doing that anymore. Thanks to the internet. Thanks to the internet, these women, all of these female rap women, female rappers are not running anything. They're just, here we are. We've always been here like this, but you had men curating what you were allowed to see. And you were only allowed to see one woman at a time. And even the women fell into that, because go to each crew, each rap crew, it's only one woman. And if another woman comes in, you have a problem with it. We saw that. We see that played out and demonstrated on Love and Hip Hop, where the woman thinks, oh, I'm going to be on his label. I'm going to be the only woman. I'm the queen of the crew. Only female in my crew, right? They love that. But that was something that was fed by men. And women bought into that. And now the internet came out, and you can't tell these women to shut up. You can't control what you see. That's why a lot of people have such a hard time with Megan Thee Stallion. They really do. Because she's saying the thing, she's talking shit, she's giving you she's bragging. And this latest album, she's talking about niggas shooting her and everything like that. Other than rap niggas, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, they're more visible because nobody is pushing them away. And Nicki Minaj was the last. I remember it was like 5 years. Nicki Minaj would be in categories and she would win every single category. And that made it look like, oh my God, these bitches are my sons. No, these bitches weren't allowed to come out of the fucking hospital room. They weren't. And that's what it is. So I will be watching Nicki Minaj's HBO documentary. I'm here for it. I think that's enough time, y'all. I think we talked about enough. I think that's enough for us to chew on a little bit down in the comments. I wanted to talk about Claudia not stealing, but actually executing Nene Leakes' idea with Al Reynolds, Funky Dineva, and Gary with the T down on Fox. So shout out to Claudia Jordan. Anyways, y'all take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.